So special welcome, everyone. I'm so glad that you took your time to be here with me. It's 7 p.m., well, 7:04 now here in the UK. And I know it's about 2 p.m. Eastern. Welcome, special welcome to tonight's webinar on the 4 secrets to hit 5 figures in your online coaching business. I am your presenter, Dr. Melissa Tranquille. I have a background actually in education, training and consultancy, and human resources. You know, I took the bold step to go after the life that I wanted, and I do that a number of ways. And one of the ways that I do that is by helping professionals to structure their online coaching business so that they can get paid doing what they love. I'm so happy to be presenting to you today. And for those of you who have been following me for quite a while, you will know that I love to give. And I do weekly Facebook Lives. I enjoy teaching and training others. So right now I'm here in my zone and I'm so happy to be teaching you tonight. How many of you are happy to be here tonight? Just type happy in the chat box. I'm really, really happy to be teaching you tonight. Now, as I get on with it, thank you. Thank you. Great. I see persons are joining us. Welcome, welcome. Let me just start by saying, who is this training for? Now, unlike me, my webinars are quite different from a lot because I won't be dwelling, on, I like to get straight into the teaching. So this introductory part is not going to be very long. So this training is for you if you are new to the coaching industry and you want to start your online coaching business. If you already have a coaching business and you would like access to further information or to help launch your online coaching business, or if you just want to start a signature coaching business as a side hustle so you can generate more income, then this training is for you. Also, if you feel like you're not living the life you want, sometimes we're living the life and we're living like what we feel life has been throwing at us and we want to do more. You want to live a more fulfilled life, a life filled with more meaning. We want to take our passion and turn it into purpose. And if that sounds like you, then you are in the right place tonight. To put it simply, it's a great time to join the coaching industry for a number of reasons, because it's an expanding industry. When we look at all the facts out there, all the surveys out there, the coaching industry is always growing. As a matter of fact, the International Coach Federation revealed that the number of coaches worldwide has grown from 47,500 to 53,300, and that was in 2016. Realbusiness.co.uk says it's an $11.6 billion industry in 2019. Because you see, more and more people are needing help. People are struggling, and they're struggling in a variety of areas in their lives. And I believe coaches have to be individuals who care about their struggle. And you have a real desire to help them overcome that struggle. Another reason why it's a great time to join the coaching industry is due to the fact that you could make a personal and a lasting impact upon people's lives. As long as the coachee does the work and take the recommended steps to get them to the desired state, whether you are a marriage coach, whether you are a divorce coach, whether you are a career coach, whether you are a health and fitness coach, as long as they take the recommended steps, they will be transformed. And I find that's one of the most beautiful things about coaching. And a third reason is that I find it's a wonderful thing if you're able to get remunerated doing something that you love. So if you enjoy helping others, when I look back in my own past, and anybody who has known me for quite a while will know that I enjoy helping others, and I had been doing it for free for such a long time. And I still do a lot of it for free. And if you enjoy helping others, helping them to make a difference in their life, achieve the success they desire, whether it's their personal life, whether it's their professional, their business life, their career life, their marriage life, health, well-being, spiritual, and I could go on and on in the variety of areas we can find coaches in, but it's quite rewarding to be recognized for your expertise. On the contrary, if you're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, if you lack the persistence and commitment, if you don't really care about helping others and you're only focusing on the money, then this is not the right thing for you. You will definitely have a struggle because you have to be committed. You have to be ready to be a leader and a change maker. You have to be 100% committed to helping the persons that you serve. So if you're committed and you're ready, then you are in the right place tonight. I want to ask how many of you are committed to serving and helping others. If that sounds like you, just type 100% in the chat box. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Committed. Thank you, David. Committed, 100%. You have to be 100% committed. You have to be all in. That is something I believe in very strongly. So let's begin with a question. Let's get right down into it. How many of you present here tonight already have a coaching business? If you have a coaching business, just type have so I would know. How many of you in attendance tonight want to start your online coaching business? If it's something you want to do, just type want so I can differentiate. Tammy says she wants. David said he wants. That's great, Tammy and David. That's great. So what would you say to those of you who have responded? What would you say is your biggest fear right now while you have not yet started your coaching business? Thank you, Tom. Want. What would you say is your biggest fear right now? Or what has been holding you back before now? What would you say has been holding you back? And if you don't want to share it, I'm not putting anyone on the spot. Don't worry about it. You could take this question, get your sheet of paper, and write this question down. What has been holding me back from starting my coaching business till now? Thank you, Tom. Don't know where to start. And that is something that I have found, Tom. Even when I started, where to find your clients and marketing. Wonderful, Tammy. And these are really key areas. And you are in the right place tonight because I will be touching on some of those very points tonight. Thank you for answering the question. Now, for those of you who already have a coaching business, plus perhaps we have some of you here who already have a coaching business. If you wish to share 2 of your biggest struggles right now, feel free to do so in the chat. Knowing what to focus on. Yes, David, that is so right. Finding what is that area, what is that passion that you have. But you know, like I always say, if you join my Success Coaching Academy, you will find one of the Facebook Live videos where I talk about passion into purpose and passion into profit. Because knowing what to focus on is a key point that David has raised. Because it's not just your passion, but it also has to be an area that is profitable because you got to pay the bills nonetheless. So it's also finding an area where you're able to make your living from it. So that's a wonderful point, David. Good, let's move right on. How many of you have read so many books written by some wonderful coaches, wonderful entrepreneurs, but you still find yourself stuck? And that has happened to me. Because books are a great resource and I recommend reading them. I read a lot of books myself, and you would hear me quote from some of the authors tonight. But by the time you're through reading the book, what I find is so difficult is that you don't know where to start because the book alone just won't work. Or perhaps you've bought several digital courses, but you still haven't added many zeros to your bank account because like David raised earlier, you just don't know where to start. How many of you can honestly say that your fears perhaps have been keeping you in a box? If this is you, just type yes in the chat box that your fear or whatever fears that you have been keeping you in a box. Thank you for being honest. Thank you very much. Thank you, David. Thank you, Tammy. Now we have all sorts of fears. We have fears of putting ourselves out there. We have the fear of failing. We have the fear of stepping out of our comfort zone. Some persons are afraid of success. It may sound silly, but it's a fear that some persons genuinely have. We have a fear of feeling like we're fake, or a fear of not having what it takes. Or some people, they have all the pieces. They have the confidence. They have the business set up, but they're afraid of talking price. They're afraid of talking money because we have those money blocks. So we have different fears. I can remember even when I first started, and I had a fear of putting myself out there because I didn't like the sound of my voice. And there was this course that I was following, and he recommended that you recorded yourself before you start. Record yourself, while walking, while jogging, doing whatever you're doing around the house. Start to record yourself and listen to yourself. And that was something that I had to work to overcome. Whereas other person would say, you have a lovely voice. I didn't like the sound of my voice, and that was my fear of putting myself out there because I didn't like the sound of my voice. So we all have our own internal fears that we have to work to overcome. And if we're not careful, these fears, and that's why I love this picture, they hinder us. These fears keep us in a box. You know, Neil Shah, he's a famous LLP coach, and he says that it's that inner belief in our inability to cope with something that really causes us to fear. So the most important thing is being able to identify what it is that you fear and find the evidence to prove otherwise. So on your sheet of paper, when you leave this training, you make a list, write down what is it that I fear, what are my fears. And when you do some reflection, maybe you might not be able to recall it off of your head. Some of you might be able to, but when you do your reflection, you will be able to come up to what is unique to you, that is your fear that has been holding you back from taking that leap. So I will ask you to do that tonight. And you take that fear and then you turn it into an affirmation. You take that negative statement and you turn it into an affirmation. Because if you were to reflect and you go back for the evidence in your life, you will be able to find moments when you have succeeded or overcome that fear. And if we use a typical example of someone who, for instance, thinks that they will never be able to get a job again, you know, and they were so afraid of applying for another job because they've gotten so many negative responses, and it has dampened their spirit, and the inner critic is always beating them, you know. But if they look for the evidence in their life and they look back on their past, they can find instances where they have succeeded, you know. So write that down, because that's something that is very crucial. Because the truth is, it is impossible, and I say the word impossible, impossible to achieve success with the grips of fear. That is impossible. Tell me if you agree with me. It's impossible to achieve success with the grips of fear. Yes, it is, because that fear will keep you from getting out of your comfort zone and doing what needs to be done so that you can achieve the level of success that you desire. Thank you, David. You're absolutely right. Thank you. So it's time to take your passion and turn it into purpose. But the other truth is, and I alluded to this earlier, passion will not only pay our bills. Passion only will not pay your bills. So this is the other truth that we must face, is that you need to find the system that works. You know, I've come up with a system to help people structure their signature coaching business in an organized and systematic way. I've recognized the importance of going about it this way because I know from experience the drawbacks of having a disorganized coach, or even just getting bits of pieces, and then you're left on your own to all figure it out. So imagine if you have just the frame of a car, the door and the window, but no engine. Can you say that you have a working car? No, you can't say you have a working car. You have to put all those parts together, yes? And then you can say that you have a working car. So there are a number of pieces that make up the whole to help you to hit 5 figures in your online coaching business. Now, what I do is help people with those parts by showing them how to structure their online coaching business so that they can get paid doing what they love. And one of the clients that I worked with, he didn't have any structure at all. And his business basically stressed him out. And we worked together over a couple of weeks, and he was able to get the results that he wanted, you know, and I'm really happy for him today. So let's move on. And one of the reasons I do what I do is this, and I thought it was imperative that I share this. This is my deep why, because I want to leave a legacy for my kids. You know, I have 4 beautiful kids. I love them with all my heart. And this is the reason why I do what I do. I don't think I can bear missing their school activities and their events. And that is why I started my online coaching business. I started working from home so that I can be there for them, but also that I can do what I love. So I just thought it was really important that I share my deep why, because one of the things you will find, and if we ever end up working together, or even if you join my coaching group, I already have a Facebook Live on that topic, plus a free worksheet, is you have to find your deep why. Because that deep why is what's going to push you, what's going to motivate you to get up even when things may seem gloomy, that you will keep going until you see that star. So you need to find your deep why. So now let's dive right into the 4 secrets to hit your online coaching business. Get your pen and paper, and you are free to take as much notes as possible. Now, you will appreciate that I can share many things tonight, but these 4 that I'm sharing, I think, are 4 crucial pieces that will help you to start your online coaching business. And if you do this correctly, you can achieve your income goals. And the first one is problem. So you could write that down. The second one is client. The third is engagement. And the fourth is strategy. These are the 4 secrets that we will be touching on tonight. Thank you. I see Quinette is here. Thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. So let's move right on to secret number 1. Problem. This is clarity on the problem that you will solve. Many persons start an online coaching business and they fail because of this one problem right here. From the very start, they have not received clarity from the get-go on the problem that they will solve and ultimately the niche that they will work in. So you have to remember, when we're talking about problem, that it's all about your client and not about you. Clarity on the problem that you will solve is key. You know, about 2 weeks ago, I was doing email coaching one day, and a very dear client said that she needed help to name her coaching business. However, when she wasn't able to share with me the problem that she solves in one simple sentence, I showed her how it was essential to be absolutely clear on the problem that she will solve before taking that step. So you have to be able to say it even in a simple sentence. What is the problem that you solve? I help X by doing X, you know? So when we talk about that problem that you will solve now, we want to focus on the customer's pain point. The pain point is the specific problem that they are experiencing. You know, as Perry Marshall, I believe, puts it, their breaking neck problem. It's the thing that keeps them up at nights. Now, someone may be having marital problems, and their problem really is poor communication in their marriage. An entrepreneur may be struggling to generate leads for his or her business, and their biggest pain point is retaining their clients. Or maybe you're a weight loss coach and you help people to lose weight by following the keto diet. You know, so you have to find what is the problem, that key problem that you will solve. And it may sound easy, but it can be a difficult process. Why? Why do I say this? Because it's not what we think the problem is out there. We have to actually get out there to find what that problem is. And I'm going to share with you 3 different ways, and we could talk about many more tonight, but I'll just give you 3 crucial ways that you can know your customer's pain point. You can write them down. Now, you hear so much about niching down, but there's something that must not be forgotten. Niching down really has to do with drilling down to that one big problem that you will solve and for which sector of the market. You know, like Paul Mahoney is the author of Rethink Social Media. He says that there's no such thing as the perfect niche, but there is the right niche for you. So what is that problem that you have the expertise or would like to develop the expertise in to help your client overcome? So now let's look at those 3 ways that can help you to know more about your customer's pain points. And one of it is conducting qualitative customer research. And we know qualitative is actually getting to know their opinions, their perspective, getting their subjective responses. One reason you can do this is to conduct a survey. Many of you have heard of SurveyMonkey. You can use it for free up to a certain number of questions. You conduct a survey using SurveyMonkey, or you run a survey on your website. You can speak directly to potential customers if you are surrounded by them. If you have an email list, for instance, you can also engage. You may find from time to time, I will write my email list and ask them, you know, which of the 3 areas is the biggest pain point at the moment, or I will ask them to share with me one struggle that they have at the moment. All this, when you see emails like that, and I'm sure you've seen such emails from other persons. When you see such emails, what that individual is actually doing is they're trying to find out what their customers' pain points are. That's why they're doing this. Another one is to ask questions in LinkedIn groups. And I'm sure many of you here tonight are members of different groups, even on Facebook groups. And you will see someone put a post, to that effect. And that is because they're trying to find out the pain points out there. And that's something that we forget sometimes. It's what is the customer's pain point, not what we think, but what is it that they are actually experiencing that it keeps them up at night, that they would love to get a solution for. So I talked about Facebook group. I guess I was going faster than my slide. But of course, if you start a poll in your Facebook group, do remember to get permission first. And once permission is granted, that's another great way to know your customers' pain point. And even I'm sure you've belonged to several Facebook groups, and the host of those groups, you see them run polls from time to time. They're trying to find your pain point. Another one is keywords. Whether you use a mix of head terms or long tail keywords, whether you put those keywords into Google or YouTube, search forums, Twitter, all these are to find out your customer's pain point. And keywords is a great one, according to Perry Marshall. He says that the internet is organized by keywords. So those keywords can really give you great data on your customer's specific pain points. So now that you get these are 3 different ways. You could take a note of them, and I'm sure you've seen some of them in operation. You of your own self, if you want to start your online coaching business, this is where you start. Yes, you start by finding your deep why, like I mentioned, identify any of your fears so you could get your mindset ready, but you start with clarity on the problem that you will solve. So you can write that down. That is your starting point, getting clarity on the problem that you will solve. Now, once you've gotten clarity on that problem, the next crucial step is to come up with your unique solution to that problem. What are the steps that your client will need to take to solve that problem? Now, I want to stress on the word unique. The reason why I want to stress on the word unique, I want us to go deeper here. I want us to go deeper because coming up with some simple steps to solve the problem is just not enough. No, because many coaches, in fact, every coach, for instance, let's take a stress management coach. We have 10 stress management coaches, and they all will have steps for their clients to take to overcome or manage their stress. I'm sure you agree with me. But the number of steps may differ. Maybe the type of steps may also differ. But why I say let's go deeper? Because the question that your potential client will be asking him or herself is, why should I choose you over X? What about your solution is unique? So that is why this is the second thing I wanted to take down. Once you've gotten clarity on the problem you will solve, the second thing you need to do is to identify what is your unique solution to that problem. Perhaps it's because you provide a tailor-made service that is unique to your users' needs. And if you study some businesses, you realize they have this line in their business, in their tagline. And that's what they're trying to sell, their USP, their unique selling proposition. That is what's unique about them. Maybe you are a divorce coach and it's because you've lived through a divorce yourself. So what about your service is unique? Maybe it's the top quality and you have a list of testimonials to show for it. Or maybe it's because it's only you in your area that provides a particular product or a particular service. Or perhaps it's because your price is lower than your competitors, so you get a real bargain for your clients. So this is key. I've scouted Facebook groups and other groups, and I've seen so many people share that this first key is something that they struggle with. They have many ideas and they're unsure what to do. So I want to help you today by reminding you that it's not about you. It's about your client. And I want to ask you right now, do you agree that thinking about it this way would make it easier for you? If you think purely about what your client needs are, what problems your clients are facing, would you agree that that would make it easier for you? Type yes in the chat box if you would agree. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Thinking about it this way, it really takes some of the stress out of the way, because you no longer, this writing up a lead magnet, or writing up a freebie or an ebook about what you think the solution is, what you think the problem is. You actually have done your research, you've gone out there, and you've tried to identify what the problems are, so you know that you're meeting your customers or your potential clients' needs. So that is key number one. Let's have a quick recap. So secret number one is have clarity on the problem you will solve. And number two is your unique solution to that problem. I hope you've taken that down. So let's keep the ball rolling. Let's go to secret number three. Now, secret number two, secret number two is knowing your ideal client. What do I mean by knowing your ideal client? Now, here are some questions for you to consider, and this will tell you what I mean. How can you serve your client if you don't know your client? How would you be able to recognize your ideal client if you don't know your ideal client? How would you be able to appeal to your client, get them to download your free resource, and even potentially buy from you if you don't understand your client? You develop this understanding by going through a process called the creating your avatar. Now, Paul Mahoney, author of Rethink Social Media, he states that the creation of an avatar is about understanding the interests, the mindset, and the perspectives of your avatar. And that is what will give you greater success. So you have to develop your client's avatar. What you need is you name that avatar. And I developed my client avatar. My last product that I worked on, and you're getting the scoop here because I haven't even released it to my weight loss group, because I also do weight loss coaching. It's called Smash 5. And I developed that avatar for that product before I even started the product. So give that avatar a name, give it an age, give it a gender, place of residence, employment status, whether they're married or unmarried, whether they have children or grandchildren, what is their earning potential, what are their goals, what is it that they aspire, what do they value, what do they hold dear, what are some of the hobbies that they engage in, what about their spending ability. And of course, for your avatar, you must identify what are their pain points, what keeps that person up at night, what stops them from sleeping as it pertains to your area. So once you've identified what your problem is, so let's say you want to be a marriage coach. You've identified what your problem is, that you would be helping people, for instance, have better communication. I help people to have better communication in their marriages so that they can live a more fulfilled marriage or whatever. Once you identify what that problem is and your unique solution to that problem, you develop that avatar for that client. Whether you work with men, okay, I work with men around the age of 45 years who have been married for 5 years, and they have two kids, and they're in the upper bracket. They make a salary of maybe £5,000 or £3,000, and you actually give this avatar a life. He loves his wife, but he struggles. What keeps him up is that she misinterprets everything he says, and maybe it's because he's not able to communicate it clearly. So you identify what those pain points are, what his fears are, what are some of his fears, or if it's women you work with, what are some of her fears, and you give that avatar a life. You bring that avatar to life. Does that make sense? And I'm part of a LinkedIn group, and someone was sharing this in the group, and there were a few persons who said that they had developed their avatar, but they don't really use it. Thank you, Quinette. Yes, it's all about the client. And even some person said, well, hey, I can't really understand why you need an avatar, because it sounds so fictitious. Let me share something with you, because I want you to get this tonight. And I want to give you 2 examples of client avatar techniques at work. Now, we can all identify the first company brand by its photo. Let me just have a sip of coffee. and it has become a household name for all of us. And it is Adidas. And we all love Adidas shoes. They're so comfortable. Now, do you know what has made Adidas so successful? Well, yes, the branding and the advertising definitely played a large role in their success. But tell me something, my dear people. What use is your branding or advertising if you are not clear on who you serve? Is that a valid question, right? What use, and I'll repeat it, is your branding and your advertising if you're not clear on who you serve? So many persons think that developing your client avatar is a small matter. And I want to show you right now, it's not a small matter. Adidas was launched in 1924, and my source is at the bottom of the screen. And the founder, Adi Dassler, he started the company with his Dassler Brothers shoe. I think he named it the Dassler Brothers Shoe Factory. And then it was later renamed to Adidas in 1949. Now, their success was in large part due to being clear from the onset who they serve. From the very beginning, Adi Dassler decided that his target clients would be athletes, and his goal was to provide athletes with the very best equipment. So from the onset, he knew who was his ideal client, athletes, and he knew how he wanted to serve them. And you find avatar works not just for service businesses, but also for product-based businesses. Let's talk briefly about another brand. Now, you'll have to excuse my photo here, since I wasn't able to find a genuine picture that I can use. So I had to improvise a bit here. And the next brand is L'Oreal. Now, L'Oreal, as we may already know, is a large personal care company in France. Wikipedia.org cites it as the largest cosmetic company in the world, and they focus on hair color, skin color, sun protection, makeup, perfume, hair care. Now, when you read their mission statement on the l'oreal.co/group, it says that their goal is to provide the best cosmetic innovation to women and men around the world with respect for their diversity. Now, when I did some research, I discovered that they had different brands, and these brands target different clientele. They also have a number of divisions. For example, the Maybelline New York division, and I love Maybelline, L'Oréal Paris, the African beauty brands, and more. Now, I would love to be a fly in the room at one of their product meetings. Let us take the African beauty brand division, for instance. Do you think that they would be developing products for that audience without first understanding as much as they need about them? The age range they'll be targeting, their habits, their income bracket, their pain points, their desires, and much more. So tell me if these two examples have, perhaps you've already heard this, but has consolidated it for you in your mind, that knowing your client is essential, whether you are a big or a small brand, whether you are a service or a product-based business, that you have to create your client avatar. Does this all make sense for you? And you find you can also have an avatar if you're developing a number of products. Thank you, David. It does. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. If you're developing a number of products, you may have to develop a number of different avatars. Because why? Because each avatar will have a different need. So you don't want to be developing, you just design one avatar and then you're creating a totally different product that targets different problems for that other avatar. You find you will have a problem. No one will end up buying that product. So yes, you can also have a number of different client avatars depending on the type of business that you have. Let me interact with you just a brief moment here. How many of you know, I know some of you here are new. We had quite many persons that signed up for tonight's training, but they will have to catch up on the replay. But if there are any of you here who have drawn up a client avatar before, Or maybe you've already created one, but you don't really follow it. Like a few persons I've heard that they have created a client avatar, but they've never really applied it because they didn't really understand how it really works. So let's move on to the next slide. Yes, I see someone in the chat. I'm just looking at the chat. You tried to do it, but it got too complicated. Yes, and unreal. Yes, it can seem very, very fictitious. But what you will find, and this is what I'm going to explain to you in the next slide, I will show you how it applies now. Thanks for sharing. So yes, I'm always going faster than my slide. All right. So what would you find is why your client avatar is important. I want to leave you now with a deeper appreciation of why your client avatar is important, how it applies. Every sales page that you will write, every landing page that you will write, every freebie you will design, every email you will draft, every ad, whether it's a written or a video ad, it will or should be written with your client's avatar in mind, because that avatar is the person that you're serving. If you don't do that, you'll find yourself creating products that people don't buy, or writing articles that they don't connect with, or a sales page that doesn't convert. And it will only leave you feeling more and more frustrated. You know, I've recently started developing the client avatar. I have found that persons have been reaching out to me on LinkedIn, you know, reaching out to me more often, connecting with me. And it's because I have been applying these very concepts in the emails that I will write, in the blogs that I will write. Everything that I do is with my avatar in mind. Because remember, when you take, for instance, okay, we're designing an opt-in, a landing page, and that landing page is to, let's go back to the marriage counselor. You've developed an avatar where you've written down that that avatar's fears, the pain points. So when you're drafting that copy, it incorporates some of that language on their fears and their pain points. You know, have you ever read a copy and then you're like, wow, that sounds like me? You know, you read, you're scrolling on Facebook, and then you suddenly click on something and you read it and like, yes, I'm going through that right now. I've spent hours and hours of creating content. Yes, I've done XYZ. Yes, and I've gotten nowhere. It sounds like me. It's because they've developed that client avatar and they've incorporated it. They've incorporated those pain points. They've incorporated those fears into the copy. And that's how they bring it to life. So I'm sure this will give you a really greater appreciation for developing your client avatar. So take that down as secret number 2. I think I have to meet someone. Let's go on. Let's see here. We have more and more persons joining. Thank you for joining. You'll have to catch up on the replay to see what you have missed. So we'll recap on secret number 2. Know your ideal client. Now you may be wondering why I have this picture here. I really love this photo. And I have it here for emphasis because I wanted to denote the importance of knowing your ideal client. Even if someone blocks your eyes, you will still be able to tell them who your ideal client is. You can feel it deep within because it's the essence of everything that you do. Every blog post that you write, every lead magnet, every landing page, every sales page, every advertisement, all your content is written with your ideal client in mind and for your ideal client. Does that make sense? Let's move on to secret number 3. It's mastering the art of engagement. This is secret number 3. The key question here is this: why do you want to engage with your ideal client? Now, I'm sure that you would agree that it is an obvious question, but it may surprise you to know that so many coaches fail to give this the attention that it deserves. Now, why do I say this? Let me depict it using an illustration. And I know this since I've joined a number of mastermind groups, and I've also been a member of some monthly subscription groups. There are many coaches and online marketers who do not have a list. They have set list building as a subsequent business goal and not a priority one. And even I fell into that bracket earlier on. List building is something that you will do after. So if you were to perform a market audit, so this is something that you must do. You write that down as your next point under engagement, perform a market audit. If you were to perform a market audit, you will discover that you have a poor social media presence, or you go onto their business page and the last post was 18 months ago. If they use LinkedIn, you discover that there isn't much activity there. If they do have a website and you hop over to their website, there hasn't been a blog post for 6 months. I mean, there was a time when I used to post every week. I no longer do that because I don't have much time. However, I have almost 100 blogs on my site. But there are some persons, there isn't much to read on their website. I'm sure you get my drift by now. Now, I'm not bashing anyone because I don't know anyone personally. I don't know anyone's personal circumstance. I'm here to teach you. And all I ask is for you to remain honest and open, because I was in this bracket my very self. So I can talk from experience. And I really want to leave you with this training with some great takeaways. So why did I talk about all this? Your list, your social media presence, your website, your business page. Because the purpose of all these mediums and more is to engage with your potential clients and customers. So if you have no list, then you are not engaging with your potential clients. If you have a poor social media presence, then you are not engaging with your potential clients. You don't necessarily need a website because there are people making a killing without it. But if you already have one, it is time to come up with ways to engage with your clients and potential clients. So this is why the next key is mastering the art of engagement. Now you have a number of platforms to do that. And you will, of course, know all of these platforms here. But the key here I want to emphasize is you have no traffic, you have no business. Because if you don't have any traffic, my friends, then who are you going to engage with? And how will you connect with your clients and know what they need, right? So how can you help them? How can you help them if you don't engage with them, if you don't know where they are? You know, there is something that Perry Marshall says that I love. And it's the yin and yang of media traffic expertise. So I want you to think of this firstly. Traffic equals engagement. So you can write that down. Why you need to focus on traffic is because you want to engage with your potential or ideal clients. Now let's go into what is that the yin and yang of media traffic expertise according to Perry Marshall. He says that the yin is where it is impossible to become proficient in every form of advertising. And that's an absolute. We know that. The yang is the premise that if your business is based upon just one source of traffic, one advertising medium, your business is a stool with one leg. It's a train wreck waiting to happen. And my source is at the bottom of the screen. So what he recommends is that you focus on 1 to 3 forms to become skilled in. But however, you should start by mastering one. So you go through that list, and I will get to the point where to tell you which one you should go on and how to determine which one. But you go to those different mediums and you choose one to start with that you master, but you have at least two or three that you eventually will want to work on in order to reach your potential clients. So now let me talk about how do you know which platform to use. And this was something that someone shared at the beginning of the webinar, not knowing where your ideal clients hang out. So you are definitely in the right place. You know, an angel must have touched your shoulder tonight to let you know to attend tonight's training, because you will get the answer that you're looking for. So you need to find out where does your ideal clients hang out. Now, do you see why I talked about the ideal clients earlier? That is why ideal client was key number 2. Developing your avatar was key number 2. So now that you know who your ideal client is and what their fears and their pain points and their desires, what all that is, now you're going to determine where do they hang out. So take, for instance, my target audience is a more mature audience. And my stats show that they hang out more on Facebook. And for instance, let's look at my weight loss aspect of my business. And I have a more mature audience. And if I were to run, for instance, a booster post or anything of that sort, my stats show that from 35 to even 65, I get great engagement. So you have to know where your target audience hang out. My mature audience does not hang out on Instagram. So the key here, why I'm saying this, is that you want to target the right traffic. And this is something that many persons don't focus on. So you find yourself, and I have recently stopped that, just joining several bundles, or you find yourself all over the place, that you're writing so many blog posts, you're joining so many bundles, and the thing about it is, let's say for instance you were to join a bundle where it's a collective bundle, and you were to get a list of, for just example's sake, 200 persons. And I have a friend who that happened to recently. She had joined a bundle, and what she does is, I think it's parent coaching, homeschooling. And what she found is that she added her list by 250, but none of them were interested in what she had to offer, because it was a collective bundle. So that is why I'm focusing on targeting the right traffic, because it will be useless to your business to have a list of, say, 5,000 people that aren't interested in what you have to offer. So you want the right people to connect with you. And this is why you developed your client avatar. And this is why when you designed your landing page or the ad that you wrote, it reflected or mirrored what you would call those low-hanging fruits, or like Perry Marshall says, the bleeding neck problems that your avatar has, so that the right traffic comes to you. And the right traffic means business for you and a better impact that you can make in people's lives. So you have to be on the right platform where your ideal client hangs out. Then you have to ensure that you are measuring your results. So you have to figure out, where does my ideal client hang out? And you can know some of this by going back into, and I love to use this example. It's free to use, but you can find out so much. Going into the Facebook groups, going onto forums, even on LinkedIn, and you can get an idea. Hey, if you are professional, for instance, you're offering a certain professional coach, let's say you are a career coach, you know for sure that your ideal client is on LinkedIn. If you, for instance, let's just say you are a publicity or coach, and your audience is, let's say you're targeting young people who are new to the coaching business, and there are, let's say, the age range of 25 maybe to 40. It's a younger audience. Then perhaps Instagram is something that might work for you. So you really have to do that research and try to find out where your ideal client hangs out, and then you choose that platform that you will get on. Now, after you've done that, now this is something that people miss. You have to measure your results. Now, you will appreciate, due to time constraints, it's impossible to go into more details on this. And I think that I may have to do a separate training on measuring your results, because this is an aspect I've begun taking very seriously and discovered that there's so much that you have to measure. I don't want to overwhelm anyone, but what I've found is that when you start to measure your results, then of course you tweak your engagement strategy, because you get to discover what's working and what's not working. And we'll discuss some of that in the next section. So you won't be wasting your time, right? So that's why it's important to measure your results. We'll be talking more about measuring those results very shortly. So for instance, I have a business page, and I get people to join my Facebook group from that business page. I engage with them in the group, but most importantly, I try to offer them different freebies to get them on my list. Because why? I want them on my list, because that's where I engage with people. I write my list almost every day or every other day. Now, the reason why I do this is because I want to engage and communicate with my ideal client. You know, there was a time, I think it was in February, I had added like 500 people to my list. And then by the end of the month, I had 100 unsubscribes. Now, when I had just started off, I used to be bothered by the unsubscribes. But what I have noticed is that persons who have unsubscribed, let them go. It's because they are not your ideal client. And since I have adopted that approach, you know, my mind has been more at ease, so I don't have the stress, and I'm focused on helping my loyal subscribers and focus on reaching my potential clients who actually need my help. And you get those persons who will reply to your email and said it was an inspiration to me today, or I really wanted to hear that, or when I do my free email coaching, they write for help, you know. So you focus on your loyal subscribers, because the point is you want to have the right traffic. So make sure you take a note of that. It's about getting the right traffic. Thank you very much. I can't see the name. It just says user, says I make it sound very easy. Well, you see, that's the thing about it, is that I'm a very organized person and I break things down. So you know, I have attended trainings before and they make it sound so complex. And I believe in breaking things down so that you simplify, because really it's simple steps that get us to the point that we want to be. So we break it down. So we measure our results. That was the last thing I was talking about. You check for your stats, the number of opens. For instance, with my emails, I will check the headlines that get the most open, the number of clicks, etc. So I think that's something in the future we can even do another training on some of the things that you can actually measure so that you can develop a really good engagement strategy. Let's move on to the next slide. And this talks about ways you could help your clients. So now once you've found out the platforms that your ideal client is on and you engage with them, and always remember, you want them to get to you. So that's why you have to focus on building your list. So if you have a Facebook page, now I want to say off the bat, if you don't have a website, don't go beating yourself up. There are people making a killing without it, right? What's important is that you have a list. Even if you have a Facebook page and a Facebook group, you don't own that platform, but your list is what you own, in the sense of you can communicate with them. You can never tell when Facebook changes something. So you want to get them from Facebook, you want to get them from off of Twitter, you want to get them from Instagram, from LinkedIn, from Pinterest, from YouTube, from wherever, onto your list. And one of the ways you can do that is to start by helping your client for free. And if you don't have a product of your own to promote, you can also promote other people's product that you can validate, of course, that is as good for your customer. Now, there are a number of ways you can help your client for free. You could start by creating an irresistible lead magnet, which of course is based upon your client avatar, based upon what their pain points are. You can host a webinar or a free masterclass like this one, or a video training. Or, you know, like you can set up YouTube videos, you can do free Facebook lives, you can prepare free guides, audio gifts, all these, or a free book, or run a competition. All these things that we see out there, it's all in an effort to help your ideal client for free. So the whole objective here, in a nutshell, is to know who you serve, how you help them, and begin by helping them for free, and to ensure that you're focusing on their bleeding neck problem, what their problem is, and not what we think that the problem is. So let's do a quick recap. So the quick recap, and we move on. So secret number 3 has to do with engagement. First, you want to drive traffic, and then you want to engage with that traffic. Let me just... And it's essential that you are driving the right traffic, because your end goal is to help your potential clients and drive revenue for your business. So choose one platform that you want to master. Of course, you have 2 or 3, which you will eventually use. And remember to measure your results. And there's something I want to leave you with when we talk about engagement. And it is something shared by Adam Houlihan. I hope I said his name correctly, from the LinkedIn Playbook. And it captures everything that I've just taught very nicely. He says, your business must be aligned with the needs of your client, and your social media strategy must also be aligned, and it must be like you must be giving a never-ending stream of high-value content and solutions. So it's all about alignment. So here you engaged in social serving, sorry. So it's about aligning your business with the needs of your client, aligning your social media strategy also with the needs of your client, and then continuously giving them high-value content. That's why in my Facebook group, I'm doing weekly Facebook Lives. I'm offering worksheets. It's giving them that high-value content. So you're engaging in social serving. So when selling, when you have to sell, it becomes easy because your clients know that it's not all about selling for you because you've always been giving, you know? And then what this does as well is that it helps to build that know, like, and trust factor. Does that make sense? So let's move on now to secret number 4. And that is strategy. Now, after employing the other 3 keys, which are problem, client, engagement, you have to develop a strategy. And I'm sure, thank you very much for sharing, Quinette. Yes, it does make sense. I'm sure now you can see how I have put this together, and you can actually see the sense in this. That once you can work these pieces, eventually you can get to that point of earning the 5 figures in your business. And when I say strategy, I want to share a story first. And it's something I enjoy by Mark Joyner, I think is his name, from Integration Marketing. He's the author of Integration Marketing. And it's a story that he shared when he was in the army. And he said there was an instructor that everybody called a Yoda, but not to his face, of course. And that instructor, of course, was admired by all the students. But he related that at one of his first lectures, that instructor asked the class a question. What is the one skill that defines a leader? Now, some person said charisma. And this was his reply. So you could be a tactical moron, forgive me here, but these are his exact words and I quote, but because you are looking good, it will make you a great leader. Another said communication. So he replied, so being able to clearly communicate your suicidal tactical approach will make you a great leader. So after some back and forth, the class went quiet. And he said, not one of you can identify the skill that defines a leader. And that is being able to see the battlefield, your strategy. And he advised everyone to forget what they were taught at university about strategy. And here is the definition that he gave. And I thought that is quite useful. It's a conceptual approach for achieving an aim that allows you to see the battlefield, no matter how complex it becomes, and make consistently effective decisions quickly, even when a correct move is seemingly impossible to find, no matter what may arise. So this is secret number 4, is being able to come up with a strategy. So you are ready to start your online coaching business. You have taken the time out. Number 1, you've taken a note of all the fears that you have. So you're going to confront those fears. Now, mindset is everything, and I could do a separate training on mindset alone. Then number 2, you've gone and tried to find out your deep why, and you've identified that deep why. And now you know the problem that you will solve, your unique solution to that problem, your ideal client, and the platform, how you will engage with your ideal client. Now you need to identify a strategy. So you're going to develop a strategy to become the go-to expert, to build a know, like, and trust factor so that you could generate a more consistent income. And this is the strategy that will take you to 5 figures. And like I said, it's not a get rich quick scheme. And that's why it's absolutely essential that you have the dedication and the commitment and the resilience to be there for your client, to help your client, to help them to get to the point from where they are now to where they want to be. So let's talk about becoming the go-to expert. That's the first strategy for unstoppable success. So let's say, for instance, you are in the process of registering for a course of study, and it's been offered by 2 persons. One is a newbie with no expertise, and the other is also a newbie, but is being seen as an expert because of their social dominance or social proof. Which one would you choose? And I'm sure many of you in the chat will say the same thing. You will choose the one who is seen as the expert. So you need to develop a strategy to become the go-to expert in your field. So make sure you write that down. The reason why this is necessary is because it's the only way to increase access to your potential clients. It's the only way to boost your sales and take it to 5 figures. And that's why I spoke about the market audit earlier. It's absolutely important. And when you have that kind of data, it will help you to develop a clear and relevant plan. Let's call it a visibility strategy to put yourself out there so you can add value to your potential clients. Now, being seen as the go-to expert will also help to build a know, like, and trust factor. And I'm sure you've heard so much about that. I have. And even in my earlier days, we hear experts talking about it all the time. But how really do you build a know, like, and trust factor? And a clue is given by Robert Cialdini, author of The Psychology of Persuasion. And he says it in one word. The one thing that strengthens the like factor. I mean, he shares many other things, but the one thing that's relevant here is familiarity. He says that we like things that are familiar to us. So you build that familiarity again by engaging with your potential clients. So my dear friends, you cannot have the email list and don't write to them. So if you have an email list, I remember when I had just 10 persons on my list, and my coach will say, write to them. Don't wait, because I was waiting till I had a list of 100. Don't wait till you have a large list. Don't wait till you have 500. Don't wait till you have 1,000. Don't wait till you have 5,000. Start to engage with your list from now, because you want them to become familiar with you. Because, you know, there's this saying, I'm not sure if I can quote it exactly, but it takes people about 7 to 10 times before they even buy from you. So you have to write your list. You have to engage with them to build that familiarity. And of course, you're engaging with them and you're adding value. You're providing great content. You can't not have the Facebook group and not connect with them. So if you do have a Facebook group, try to post, try to do Facebook Lives, try to connect with the members in your group. So you have an email list, you write to them. You have a Facebook group, you connect with them. You have to build the know, like, and trust factor through familiarity, building that connection in each contact. And when relevant, employing the psychology of similarity, whether you're from the same district or you share the same experience. So I just want to share something personal here, and I had mentioned it before. Don't worry about your unsubscribes. If you have a list, don't worry about your unsubscribes. I remember it was about 2 weeks ago, I wrote my list and I got 2 complaints. And I'm like, if you don't like what I'm writing about, just unsubscribe. Just unsubscribe. Do not worry about your unsubscribe. You have to from now on, and I'm telling you this from early, because when you start in the coaching business, if you don't have this mindset from early, you can find yourself stressed on little things. Focus on your loyal subscribers, because there are people out there who want your help. There are people out there who like you, who like what you're saying, who like how you speak, who value what you share. So focus on your loyal subscribers. Focus on those persons who want what you have to share, and forget about those who don't. God willing, they can go to another coach who will be able to reach their needs. So don't worry about that. You focus on your potential clients. Now let's move on to the third one. The third strategy is to generate a more consistent income, because if you're not making any money, then you don't have a business. It's wonderful to be providing great value to your clients and your potential clients, but the truth is the bills have to be paid. Your business bills have to be paid. So it is not wrong to think about money. It is not wrong to have a plan to generate money. To achieve this, you have to know two things. And the first one is knowing how to sell. And I have a question for you. How many of you have a hard time talking about money? And if you're new to the coaching industry, then perhaps this might not pertain to you. But if you're already in the coaching business, do you still have a hard time talking about money? And I'll be straight here. I had a very difficult time. I can remember my very first webinar. And my first webinar, my coach said to me, I said, no, I'm only going to do a training and I won't be offering anything at the end. And he said, no. He said, you offer something at the end just to get yourself talking about it. And you wouldn't believe, I separated my webinar into two, and I had one called the full training. So that was my training and the offer, and one with just the training, just in case I decided to change my mind. And I found myself hopping from one decision to the next before the webinar, really, really afraid, really scared to talk about money. But it's okay to talk about money. And the ease will come, and this is something I've learned, when you become more aligned with what you're offering. You know that what you're offering your clients are great value. So whatever it is you want to be a coach in, whether you want to be a career coach, whether you want to be a stress management coach, whether you want to be a life coach, whether you want to be a marriage coach, you know, whether you've been through it, whatever is unique about what you will be offering your client, you know you have something of value. You know that you earnestly and honestly care about helping your client. You know that you want to transform your client's life. So it's okay to talk about what you have to offer, because you know that you're offering your clients great value. And to help you, I have put this picture here. And I really love this picture, because what this picture depicts is somebody being helped up. So I want to encourage you to look at it this way. You are taking your clients by their hand and you are helping them from the hole that they are in to get them to where they want to be. So by looking at it this way, it helps you to see the great value that you're bringing to your potential clients' lives. So it's really, really important to educate yourself on how to close a sale and to really become aligned with what you are offering. You know, you have to really believe in it so you can make that offer with confidence. Adam Scott is a leading expert in the UK, and I attended one of his business events. I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. He said you must have a compelling confidence in your product. You have to believe in your offering. And I really believe that energy is everything. Because if you don't believe in what you're offering, you're not confident about what you offer, how can you expect persons to buy from you? So you have to learn how to sell. You have to become aligned with what you're offering and share it and talk about it with confidence. Now, the second thing that you need to do in order to generate a more consistent income is focusing on conversion. Now, the question I have here may not pertain to many of you, since many of you are new, but the question was how many people actually pay attention to their conversion statistics. And I know from attending different masterminds that this is something that many persons did not take into account. Perry Marshall, the author of Sales and Marketing, says that conversion, what conversion really is about convincing the person that what you have is going to solve their problem. So there are a number of things that you will need to test to determine what your conversion rates are. And then you will know what's working well, what isn't working well. So for instance, you have an email list. If you have an email list, you can test your headlines, you can test your opens, your click-through rates, you know, you check other people's, if people are coming in from other people's web pages, if people are coming in from your Facebook ads, if people are coming in from your banner ads or from joint ventures or affiliate programs. So you have to test where people are coming from as well. If you have a sales funnel, you have to test your opt-in form. This is where people register, whether it's for a free webinar or a download, a freebie. You have to test your lead generation pages, your sales pages. You have to ensure that you develop a system so that you could start tracking. Track those open rates, track those headlines, split test your landing page, see which one gets greater signups. I mean, take for instance, once I did a split test on an opt-in for a webinar, and one had a video and the other didn't. Strangely, because usually it said that videos work best, but the one without the video performed better. However, what I found is that if I did a Facebook Live promoting the webinar, I found that after that Facebook Live, when I would check by the end of the day, I would have gotten a few signups. So you have to really test to see what's working, and it would be unique to you. So make sure you write that down. You have to test and track. See what's unique to you. So I know, like, if I have a webinar, if I do a couple Facebook Lives promoting the webinar, it helps. Like, I think it was on Thursday, I did a Facebook Live. It was 7:30 in the morning Eastern, and someone was watching and she said to me, hey, I'm going to sign up for the webinar. So I was teaching on something else, but at the end of it, I reminded persons of the upcoming webinar. You have to find what works for you, and that's why you're testing. From testing, you get to know what's working, what's not working, what you need to tweak. And then over time, then you can predict what your potential revenue can be for a product. You can predict, okay, for instance, when you send an email, you know, you get 20% opens, you get 10% click-through rates, you know, you're able to measure and track, and that's how we can predict your income. Does that make any sense? Would you say that you've been getting great value today? I know persons are writing and listening, so I will check back in the chat in a few minutes because I know that you guys are writing. But let's have a quick recap. So the recap for strategy, for secret number 4 is strategy. To become the go-to expert. A strategy to build a know, like, and trust factor. Remember, through familiarity. That is why, my friends, you have to do the Facebook Lives, or if you're not on Facebook, the Twitter Live, or if you're on LinkedIn Live, or whatever the medium that you will be using. Email your list because you're building that familiarity to nurture the know, like, and trust factor, and a strategy to generate a more consistent income. And one of the things I want to mention here is, even though you want to start an online coaching business, you also have to start to think about passive income. For instance, I recently launched my new book, and that is all about having passive income. So, you know, once that book is out there, you promote it, income will be coming from that stream as well. So thinking about consistent income also involves not just focusing on your online coaching business, but focusing on ways that you could develop a passive income. Maybe a product that relates to your business that you can also sell and offer your clients. So these are also some of the things that you have to think about. So you must begin to get visible so you can be seen as the go-to expert. So attend the podcast, engage on the right social media platform where your client hangs out, practice social serving. So you are giving your potential clients great value, and begin to track and test things. Track your open emails, track your click-through rates. I even track what time my emails get open. Really? So I know that, okay, I wanted to send the webinar, I'm going to send it at this time because I noticed that, okay, between the hours of 5 to 8, I have a higher open rate. Does that make sense? And I'm sure you're beginning to see this. I'm sure you're getting a deeper appreciation for some of the things that I have been speaking about. You're tracking your click-through rates, your number of downloads, and much more. And you also have to know how to have that sales conversation. You know, Blair Singer, he's the author of Sales Dog. He says that sales is really about taking the time and care to discover what someone really needs and then finding the solution to that need. So the entire thing is really a sales process, but one that truly cares about helping your clients. And I really stand for that. You have to really care and have a passion to help your client. So from the very beginning of that process, when you start with the secret number 1 I've given you, which is the problem, you started the sales process from since that point, but you're not starting it with money in your mind. You're starting it with a true passion for caring. You care and want to help your client to solve that problem. So tell me if so far this training has been of any value to you. Now, I know that some of it may be new to you, some may be a reminder for some of you, but I'm sure that, and I know that some of you may have already heard about some of the things perhaps I've talked about today, but never applied it to your business. Maybe you've created an avatar, but you've never used that information to create your lead magnet. But I'm sure that it has given you a deeper appreciation and insight into why some of these things are so important. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Worth his time. Good information. Thank you. Thank you. Lots of great value. Thank you, Gary. I'm really glad you guys are here today. It's really my pleasure to serve everyone. So let's have a quick recap. And the recap of the 4 secrets to hit 5 figures in your coaching business. Now, there are more and more people. You have to know that there are more and more people who need your help, even now and even after, when we've broken through the challenges that the world is facing right now. More and more people will be needing help. So you have to have that strong desire to serve and help them. So it's about the problem, identifying that big problem that you will solve, the breaking neck problem, the one that keeps your client up at night. It's about identifying your ideal client, developing that client avatar, bringing that avatar to life so that every sales page, every landing page, every ad copy, every email is written and for that avatar. So when that client reads it, when that potential client reads it, they say, this sounds like me. And that's why it would have happened to you before. You may have read something, read a copy somewhere, and you're like, it's like it was talking to me, because they address your breaking neck problem. And you have to engage with your client. So if you are already in the coaching business and you don't have a list, make it your priority when leaving here. If you are not yet in the coaching business, then you're starting the right place by focusing on your list from the very beginning, how you are going to grow that list, getting in front of your potential clients, reaching out to them, engaging with them, connecting with them, and building that know, like, and trust factor. And of course, you have an overall strategy to do so, a strategy to become the go-to expert, a visibility strategy, a strategy to build that know, like, and trust factor, a strategy to generate income for your business, passive income for your business as well. So I would ask you right now whether this training was a breakthrough for you. Let me see what some of the persons in the comments have been saying. It was well worth it. Thank you. Great value, David. Good information, Tom. Lots of great value, Gary. Great value, Lorenzo. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for the feedback. Dr. Renee, thanks for joining us, Doctor. Great information. Thank you very much. And of course, the replay will be made available. So if any of you joined late, you can catch up on the replay and listen and take your notes. Now, this is just a very small percentage of what I teach. And I would like to offer you the opportunity to learn more And if this is what you want, then it's all well and good. If this is not what you want, of course, I'm sure you would agree that you've gotten great value tonight. Yes, it's a great reminder of what we should be doing. You're absolutely right, Gary. Very, very right. And I mean, some of the things that I shared tonight, I too fell into that bracket of not applying it. But when I began to apply it, I began getting more connection messages on LinkedIn. I began getting the sale for the product. I began getting persons interacting with me in Facebook. So it's important to apply what you're learning. So I have recognized from even my own experience that many people struggle to structure and launch their signature coaching business. And that is why I have put everything together. I've taken all that I know and created the Unstoppable Success Together coaching program. And I'll just tell you briefly what the results will be. If you work with me, if you decide to work with me to take the leap, you will have all the components of your coaching business in place in 14 weeks. You will know your ideal client, so that's a little over 3 months. You will know your ideal client. You will achieve significant clarity on matching your value to the offer that you offer your prospects. And you will get a strategy, a visibility strategy to know how to become more visible and be seen as the go-to expert and get the credibility that you need to grow your business. You will develop a winning mindset, the right attitude, and confidence to start your coaching business, because mindset is number one. But I didn't start today's training with mindset, and it should have been a key. But here's something I noticed. And I attended a big business event about 2 weeks ago. And I observed that when the mindset coach came, he was the first one they started the event with. Persons were not as jubilant, persons were not as energized. And then when they started on the other aspects of, knowing your clients and the sales aspects and all of that, persons were more into it. And I believe that the first step is mindset. And however, we can all get the time to sit down and talk about mindset and really dig into it, dig into those fears and dig into those blocks. And they are necessary. But the secrets that I gave tonight, these are things nonetheless that some persons know about, but we don't apply it because we haven't yet seen how it is applicable, how it rolls out in our business. How you see that, okay, I had no idea that my copy that I write is written for my avatar. That you hear people talk about avatar, 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 but you didn't get that deep understanding as to how you apply it. So it's actually very essential, the 4 secrets that I give you. And mindset, nonetheless, is a key foundation. So you will get the right mindset and the attitude you need to start your coaching business on the right foot. And you'll get past all the technical stuff that you struggle with. Many people get stuck on the technical stuff. And that is something that I will help persons with in this program. You get the unlimited support and accountability that you need to stay on track. And we all need that accountability from time to time. And you will get that accountability throughout and much more. I can sit for an hour telling you all that you will get. Nonetheless, what you will learn is that with the module 1, we'll have the welcome and introductions. And this is 13 modules. And you will dig into your deep why. Module 2 will talk about the success mindset. So we'll be really digging into some of the fears, the beliefs, the excuses, procrastination, even perfectionism, the doubts, everything that you need to work on so you can develop the right mindset from the foundation of starting your coaching business. Then we'll do structuring your online coaching business. So you will structure your coaching business. We'll focus on why start your coaching business, setting up your business goals, working on your funnel. We'll also talk about your ideal prospect in module 4. Identifying your ideal client, finding that ideal client, and connecting with your ideal clients and your tribe. In module 5, we'll talk about developing your coaching program, and we'll talk about process versus results. Because many times people make the mistake in focusing on the process. Yes, we know they are process-oriented people, but really and truly, you have to be focused also, even more so, on the results. clients are interested in, what are the results that you will get them. So we'll be digging deep into that. We'll be digging deep into structuring the content of your coaching program and structuring your sessions. In module 6, we'll be covering the visibility and credibility, mastering your message, copywriting and keywords, creating a marketing campaign, and of course, much more. I won't be able to dig into everything right now. In module 7, we'll talk about getting paid doing what you love. So we'll talk about setting those financial goals and your price offer and even streams of income, because we don't want to make the mistake of only focusing on this aspect only, but how you can develop other streams of income. Like at the moment, I launched my new book and plan to write more so that I have streams of income coming there. I also have developed some products and in the process of developing more. So you have streams of income. Then module 8, and it will be about useful demonstrations. Now, what I love about this module is I have found that many persons struggle on the technical stuff, and sometimes they're afraid to ask for help. So in module 8, I will be creating the squeeze page using a template, creating the squeeze page from scratch, designing the webinar opt-in from scratch, designing the thank you page. We'll be doing all those technical stuff, actually demonstrating, and of course, helping persons who need help to do it themselves. Module 9 will be all about sales. So the importance of your sales letter, how to write a sales letter using something that we call the hero's journey. Then module 10 will be about webinar mastery. Now you'll find that this is a very, very tight program because there's so much. This goes so deep. And the webinar mastery program is on identifying a webinar topic, on scripting the webinar, and I will even create a webinar from scratch. Module 11 will talk about the high ticket sales conversation, communicating with your potential prospects, developing that sales script, and some of the do's and don'ts, and some of the must-dos before each call, things that you must do to get your mindset ready before the call. Then module 12, we're focusing on launching your signature coaching business. And then we, of course, talk about the money mindset, because even I had to overcome it, and many other persons themselves that I know of had to overcome it, those money blocks, I like to call it. The poverty consciousness, or the fear of money, or the money guilt. So we will be talking about that money mindset. Now, these are 13 modules for the Unstoppable Success Together coaching program. It's a 14-week program. So why it's 14-week? Because you will see, as a bonus, you get an group accountability session in the 14th week. You also get lifetime access to all 13 module training that will be done live. And you also get 14 group coaching calls. As a bonus, you get these exclusive bonuses. You'll get checklists, templates, worksheets. You'll get a time management training. That's one of the trainings that persons have been buying for your personal growth and development. Persons have found great value from that training. You get access to the Success Coaching Academy Facebook group. Now, that's where I do weekly Facebook Lives. And you also get, like I said, the accountability session. And perhaps I may extend this. I will see how it goes in giving persons, even if it's another hour of a group accountability session. And you also get the unlimited email access to me for 14 weeks. So you can still connect with me via email. If you have a problem, you don't necessarily have to wait until our coaching session. You can send me an email and we can communicate via email. Now, you won't have to, and I'm not like many persons, I'm sorry, some persons, they have you on 2-3 slides saying, you don't pay this, you don't pay that, you don't pay this. Sorry, my style is not like that. You won't be investing $5,000, which is the value for the training. I have a beta launch price of $997. So that's the beta launch price. But the good news is that I do have payment options for persons who are interested. So this is the link here. I'll see if I can perhaps copy the link and I will put it into the chat, and you will also receive an email. So when I'm done with, I will try to copy the link and put it into the chat so you can visit the page, and you can also get it in your email after the webinar when I send out the replay. So you get the beta launch price of $997, and you also get payment options. You get to pay it in two payments, or 3 payments, or in one full payment. The results you will get, like I mentioned, is that you will get the components of your coaching business in 14 weeks. I'm sure you would have noticed that I'm a very organized person. So that's why I'm taking you through in a structured and organized way. So you know exactly where you are and where you're going. And you're getting all those components that you need to put in place to have everything ready for your launch. You will get to know your ideal client, get clarity on what your value is, what you're offering your prospects. You will get a visibility strategy, and you will also learn how to develop the mindset and the right attitude and the confidence you need to start your coaching business on the right foot. I'll also help you, like I said, with all of the technical stuff that people struggle with. So if you have any struggle with creating a squeeze page, creating your landing page, designing your webinar, we will be covering this technical stuff. And I'll also be looking at yours and commenting and giving feedback so that you can make the necessary changes. And of course, you have the unlimited support and accountability to help you to stay on track. You get accountability and support in my Facebook group, and I am only an email away. Plus, when you come weekly to our coaching calls, which is an hour long and can be extended to an hour and a half, you also get the accountability and support that you need there. So like I said, it's 14 weeks. You get 14 group coaching calls. You get lifetime access. You also get these bonuses. And if you wish, you can also pay in different options. You also have different options of the 2 and 3 payments. I will put the link in the chat. Let me see if I can get the link in the chat. So at the moment, you're free to ask any questions. Let me see if I can get that link up. Or any feedback that you wish to give. Yes, someone said it's very easy to procrastinate and get complacent. You are absolutely right. It's easy to procrastinate. And that's why it's really important. It's really important that we deal with mindset. I don't think I can get that link unless I stop the recording. So if you have any questions, you're free to ask any questions right now. If you have any feedback, was this training a breakthrough for you? What was one of your greatest takeaways before you leave today? What would you say was one of your greatest takeaways in today's training? I would really love to hear. You're welcome. You're welcome. Someone said privately, yes, I'm very glad you attended today's training and that you got great value. And I hope that you took as much notes as possible. Thank you very much for putting the link. Thank you so much. So there you have the link by Dr. Rene. Thank you very much for sharing. Wonderful. Wonderful. Appreciate it. So there you have the link if you wish to hop over to the page, and I'll also share it in our follow-up emails. Now the start date I think is Thursday, April 9th. So I will promote it only for 1 week, and thereafter I will close it down. And you do have the option to pay in 2 or 3 payments. That's not a problem. So I want to thank you for attending tonight's training. And I want to thank you also for participating, being such a wonderful audience, for participating and sharing your honest and open feedback. And I know that you got great value. I know that now you understand the importance of getting clarity on the problem that you will solve from the very onset. And I think I better stop now, because if not, I'm going to continue teaching for the next hour because I'm in my zone right now. So you do appreciate the clarity on the problem you will solve and the unique solution, what's unique about your problem. You know who your ideal client is, where they hang out, how you engage with them, finding out exactly how you engage with them. And when you think about engagement, focus on the right traffic, because it's no use having 5,000 emails, 5,000 email subscribers, and they're not your right traffic. They're not interested in what you're offering. And develop a strategy to become the go-to expert and be seen as the go-to expert, build the know, like, and trust factor so that persons will trust you. I want to thank you so much. Thank you very much. Informed on topic and great delivery. Thank you so much. I appreciate your feedback. Thank you, everyone, and I want to wish you a great evening. And I will send out the webinar replay hopefully by tomorrow. So thank you, Gary. Thank you, Dr. Renee. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you, Quinette. Thank you. There's someone else, I'm not seeing the name. But thank you, everyone, for attending. Have a pleasant night. And look out for the replay where you can actually take time if you wish to make some more notes. Have a pleasant night. Thank you for attending.